The various treatments and procedures that are carried out in the hospital generate different kinds of waste. In addition to the procedures, the waste that are excreted by the patient should also be managed. Used needles and sharp instruments such as surgical blades can cause physical injury that can lead to complicated infections. The bodily fluids such as blood samples, urine and stool specimens that are collected for lab testing and instruments stained with blood can lead to life-threatening infections such as HIV and hepatitis. The chemicals that are used as disinfectants or for medical procedures can cause irritation to the people using them. The diagnostic procedures such as MRI or CT scans use radioactive materials, and the waste generated from such procedures can be radioactive in nature, leading to conditions such as cancer. It is very important for you to manage the different kinds of waste that are generated in an efficient manner and maintain a safe environment in the hospital. In order to follow a standard method of waste management, you must know about the different types of the waste that are generated in the hospital system. Types of waste and methods of segregation. The different types of waste that are generated in the hospital are categorized as infectious waste, describes waste that has the possibility of causing infections to humans. It can include human tissue, that is, blood or other body parts, blood-soaked bandages, discarded surgical gloves, cultures, stalks or swabs to inoculate cultures. Hazardous waste describes waste that has the possibility to affect humans in non-infectious ways. This type of waste include sharps, which are generally defined as objects that can puncture or lacerate the skin, and can include needles and syringes, discarded surgical instruments such as scalpels and lancets, culture dishes and other glassware. Hazardous waste can also include chemicals, both medical and industrial. Radioactive waste describes waste resulting from nuclear medicine treatments, cancer therapies, and medical equipment that uses radioactive material. Pathological waste that is contaminated with radioactive material is treated as radioactive waste rather than infectious waste. General waste makes up at least 85% of all waste generated at medical facilities. General waste is no different from general household or office waste and includes paper, plastics, liquids, and any other materials that do not fit into the previous three categories. While the wastes are collected from the different areas of the hospital, they should be classified and collected according to the type of waste. This is called segregation of waste. The waste is then collected and disposed according to the method of segregation. Collection of waste. Medical waste must be collected and stored prior to treatment in a way that eliminates the possibility of interaction with humans or the environment. The method of collection and storage generally depends on the specific type of waste. Medical waste containers are generally red, contain the word biohazard, and are imprinted with the universal three-side biohazard symbol. This standardization immediately identifies these containers as medical waste. Contaminated, reusable sharps must be placed in containers that are puncture resistant, closable, leak-proof on sides and bottoms, and labeled or color-coded in yellow. Reusable sharps that are contaminated with blood or other potentially infectious materials must not be stored or processed in a manner that requires employees to reach by hand into the containers. This standardization immediately identifies these containers as medical waste. Specimens of blood or other potentially infectious material are required to be placed in a container that is labeled and color-coded and closed prior to being stored. Regulated waste, liquid or semi-liquid, must be placed in containers that are constructed to contain all contents and prevent leakage of fluids. Once the wastes are collected, then they must be disposed following a set of standard procedures. Let us look at the different steps in the disposal of waste. Procedures of waste disposal. Different colored waste bags are allotted to dispose different types of waste. It must be disposed of into the correct packing for the waste. Waste which has body fluids on it must be disposed as clinical waste in the particular colored waste bag allotted to that kind of waste. Usually, different colors used for such waste are yellow clinical waste bags for clinical waste, asbestos in red asbestos bags, needles and sharps in the yellow sharps boxes. Sharps boxes must not be allowed to be filled to the top, as there is a risk of staff being pricked by the needles. In healthcare centers, sharps boxes should be kept in secure areas away from patients. When the medical waste box is filled, seal the bag liner and box and notify the cleaner for pickup. All these containers should be properly labeled. Sterilize or disinfect waste materials associated with viral, bacterial, or other agents infectious to humans. Only non-chlorinated plastic collection bags are used. This ensures that the items are not being recycled or reused by rag pickers. Bags are removed after they are 2/3 filled with biomedical waste. Waste collected daily is transported to the designated storage site or deep burial pits. A storage location for hospital waste collection is designated inside the establishment. Within the hospital, waste routes are designated and time of transfer of waste to avoid the passage of waste through crowded and patient care areas. Dedicated wheeled containers, trolleys or carts are in use to transport the plastic bags to the site of storage or deep burial. Risks of improper waste management. Improper management of waste within the hospital system can lead to high-risk situations that can lead to infections. It is important for you to understand the risks of improper waste management. Improper management of discarded needles and other shapes can pose a health risk to the public and waste workers. For example, discarded needles may expose waste workers to potential needle stick injuries and potential infection when containers break open inside garbage trucks or needles are mistakenly sent to recycling facilities. Cleaners and housekeepers also risk injury. if loose sharps poke through plastic garbage bags. Sharp wastes make up most of the volume of medical waste. The next highest is blood and body fluids.